Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy, co-founder of Speed Up Trader. We're in the beautiful city of Miami, Chico. And we're doing the recap of what happened in the markets last week. So let's get started. There's a blooper, we're gonna leave it in. Overall this week, Monday, the market went a little bit higher, fell off the highs. Very good news with Trump saying that we might have an agreement with the trade war between China and the United States. Trump also said that he's gonna delay the tariffs, the new tariffs that were gonna go in place for the Chinese products. On Tuesday, the markets edged lower due to the fact that we saw losses in very big companies like Caterpillar and also Lowe's. We also awaited news from Federal Reserve Chairman Powell about the monetary policy, what they're going to do in the future in the U.S. Remember that obviously that affects quite a bit what's going to happen in the U.S., whether they're going to raise or lower interest rates. If you guys don't understand how that works, basically remember that the economy of the United States is 70% consumerism. So banking services, buying houses, buying, just people buying stuff, put it that way. So when they raise or lower interest rates, that affects quite a bit the economy due to the fact that obviously if they raise interest rates, less people are going to borrow, less people they're going to buy, and that obviously affects the economy overall. On Tuesday, we also had something interesting. CME, which is the biggest, let's say, company that manages stock exchanges around the world. They have the most stock exchanges. They had to shut down one of their exchanges for 3 hours at about 9:45 p.m. due to the fact that it had a bit of a glitch in the platform. They said that after about 3 hours or so, they were able to fix it. All three of the main U.S. indices in February went up. For the month of February, the Dow went up 3.7%, the S&P 500 went up 3%, and the NASDAQ went up 3.4%. That's for February. I just wanted to say that again. For the week, the Dow went down 0.20%, the S&P 500 went up 0.39%, and the NASDAQ went up 0.89%. In overseas market news, the European markets were mostly mixed for the week. They went down 1.01%, the Frankfurt went up 1.26%. The Latin American markets were mixed as well. The biggest loser was the Mexican exchange at negative 2.64, and the biggest winner was the Colombia, my dearest Colombia, went up 1.54%. Asian markets overall were mixed as well. The China SEC exchange went up 6.78%, and the South Korea Kospi went down 1.64%. We're gonna wait until the noisy boat finishes from coming by. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency news this week. Bitcoin finally moved past the point of 3,800. And we had a situation where some advertisers were reporting that this is a false recovery due to the fact that on Sunday it actually went down by 10%. Overall for the week it went down 2.73%, reaching 3,870, and there's still no recovery that a lot of experts were predicting at the end of last year. In financial news, there's an office called the Office of Financial Research, which is talking about, it keeps track of the non-financial debt. The records go back to 1947, and they're saying that the debt in the United States that's non-financial corporate debt has reached $5.7 trillion as of the end of June 2018. Chief economist Lindsay Piegziga from Stifel is saying that the Fed, a lot of people are reporting, you guys remember, I never want to get political when I do these videos, or now that you guys are listening to the podcast, which is available by the way. So whether you love Trump, hate Trump, love Obama, hate Obama, left or right, I'm not going to get political. I'm just going to present you the facts. So there's a lot of analysts that are saying that the Fed is actually going to increase rates, but now this economist is saying that they're actually going to lower them over the year due to the fact that obviously we have the preocupaciones en inglés, que es the worries. I gotta get translators now for English. Alright, serious. So, because a lot of people are worried about the global economy, and also due to the lack of any major inflation. Fed Chairman Powell said that it's going to stop shrinking its balance sheet from $4 trillion. So if you guys don't know what all this means, basically, during the 2008-2009 crisis, the U.S. government literally saved the global financial system by literally buying stuff and putting money into the financial system. Well, by raising interest rates and by taking that money out of the system, that's why in December, for example, we had the worst December since the Great Depression, right? That's 1929. So they said that they're going to stop raising rates. This economist is now saying that they're going to actually lower rates because of obviously things aren't doing that well. And also, they're going to stop taking the money out that they put in. And once things get bad again, which we're already knocking on the door, by this time next year, we're probably going to have a lot of bad news. They're probably going to start wanting to put money back into the system. And obviously because the government's supposed to fix everything, right? Anyway, so other than that, in commodities, oil tumbled the most this year in a single day after Trump tweeted that the oil prices were too high. It called OPEC to relax and take it easy. And also, due to his intervention, he trimmed the price of the oil rally in 2019 by 22%. Venezuela is starting to shift some crude, the refining capacity, or the refining in general, from the United States over to India and Europe. Obviously, the U.S. is starting to get in there with all the sanctions. They're now starting to produce the exports from Venezuela to the United States dropped to 149 barrels a day in February from 484 last month. Overall for the week, U.S. crude went down by 2.71%. International crude, which is called Brent, went down by 3.24%. Barrick Gold Corp, which is a very big gold miner, very big news. They want to take over another mining company called Newmont Mining Corp. If you guys remember, about a year and a half ago, George Soros made a fortune on buying Barrick when all the silver miners and the gold miners reached a low in about a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. Other than that, they want to buy the mining company with $17.8 billion all in cash. And they might have to do a hostile takeover because they might play hard to get. Newmont Mining Corp doesn't want them to get bought out. One of the biggest shares of Newmont Mining Corp, one of the biggest shareholders is actually saying that he wants them to combine as long as it isn't a really big fight and it's not too hostile. Overall for the week, gold went down 2.68%, went down to 1,293. Silver's down 4.58%, it got to 15.29. In political news, Africa's largest economy and biggest producer of oil, Nigeria, voted in their second president. Muhammadu Buhari won his second term by winning 56% of the vote. Israel's Attorney General on Thursday is saying that he's going to press charges against Netanyahu right before 6 weeks before the elections, and he's going to charge him with corruption charges, which is not bueno for him. U.S. economy is going to grow less in 2018 than they expected. If you guys remember, during the Obama 8-year term, the economy never grew at 3%. 3% is actually a good indication of, let's say, good growth. Trump administration was saying that he wanted to get the economy to go at 3%, but since the numbers went down a little bit at the end of December, the economy actually grew at 2.9% and not 3%. Mexico also grew a lot slower than anticipated at just 0.2% in quarter 4. You get the idea of doing a video here in front of the boats, and then all of a sudden the boats start being all noisy. We'll give it a sec. We'll give them a second to kind of calm down. Really pretty view though, right? Ya tú sabes, chicos, estamos aquí en Miami haciendo repasos, they're turning economy. So the Cubans in Miami. All right, Goldman Sachs is cutting 2019 growth forecasts as well. And a lot of Latin American countries are saying that Brazil and Mexico is going to grow less than expected. India's rate also is going to slow. They collapsed at only 6.6% when analysts were predicting at 6.9% in quarter 4. It's a sharp drop from 7.1% in quarter 3. And also it's the weakest performance of the year. U.S. home building tumbled to more than a 2-year low. If you guys remember, I told you guys about how in the U.S. economy, construction or the housing market in general is a very big chunk of the economy. So this is very, very big news. In corporate news, Goldman Sachs is saying that they may exceed their reserve for legal matters of up to $1.9 billion. In other words, they're literally saying that their holes. Other than that, shareholders in Brazilian playmaker Embraer went up due to the fact that the shareholders approved the 80% sale of its aircraft division, commercial jet division, to Boeing. That is going to change completely the market of aviation that makes the planes of under 150 seats. Shares in AB InBev went up over 4% due to the fact that they're saying that they're going to have strong sales in 2019. In technology, the Mobile World Congress went underway in Barcelona. Huawei is actually going to start producing a fold-out phone like the Samsung one. They're going to call it Mate X, and it's going to sell for $2,600. Elon Musk is saying that it's in the earliest stages of manufacturing a Starship aimed at transporting up to 100 humans and cargo to Mars. Also, it's going to be good to go to a base on Mars, on the moon as well. Indian users are now going to have access to Spotify for only $1.99 a month for the premium version. In the United States, we pay almost $10 for that a month for the premium version. Other than that, GSMA, which is a body, let's say it's a body of mobile network operators. I'm trying to do a video here. The birds are even going at it. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're saying that it's going to cost anywhere between $500 to $568 billion for the 5G rollout. Also, the United States is still trying to convince countries around the world to not use Huawei's technology due to the security concerns. Other than that, the Association for Advanced Automation is saying that U.S. companies installed more robots last year than ever before. Shipments hit 28,478 units, up over 16% compared to 2017. And more companies are weighing bringing back the manufacturing back home, which is a good sign or good news for Trump. That's what he made his campaign promises on, right? German luxury car maker Porsche is saying that it's going to release an electric version of his Macan SUV. It's the most popular model. They also want to be able to have hybrids or fully electric on all of its models by 2025. Volkswagen, the largest motor company in the world, they came back after the huge scandal, the diesel scandal, saying that they're going to invest $50 billion by 2023 to be able to invest in self-driving technologies and also electric vehicles. They want to be able to go ahead and do that in China. And as you know, China is now the largest electric car market in the world. German car makers BMW and Daimler are also announcing that they're going to combine to be able to go ahead and focus on ride-sharing and new technologies. And Facebook is going to finally release an option where you're going to be able to clear all of your history on Facebook. Very bad news for advertisers, very good news for users. In investment news, free ETFs are on the way. As you guys know, there's been a huge pricing war with the ETFs. If you guys don't know what that is, it's actually a lot of investment vehicles that people use to invest their mutual funds and pension funds in their retirement. It's called an electronically traded ETF. They're going to come out with a free one now to be able to go and offer that to in the market. Other than that, Warren Buffett said that he overpaid for the 2015 merger of the companies Kraft and Heinz. He's saying that no, he doesn't have any plans to flee the struggling chain. And also, he lost $4.3 billion on a 26.7% stake. Do you guys remember that 6 weeks ago exactly, I told you guys that the decisions that Warren Buffett was starting to make are not good ones. So you guys can see that that's actually starting to plan out. Other than that, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is saying that Musk violated his agreement with them. So they want to place him in contempt of court because he released the Tesla production levels without getting company approval. Other than that, during the U.S. president visit to Hanoi, Vietnam's Bamboo Airways and Vietjet Aviation signed deals to buy 110 aircraft from Boeing worth $15 billion. This is the fastest growing market, obviously in Asia. They're the fastest growing companies and they're looking to expand their operations. Maduro, there's a situation in Venezuela as always now. Young ladies on the yacht, I don't know if you guys saw that. There's new plans to put new sanctions, obviously, on Maduro. There was plans this weekend to try to bring humanitarian aid into the country. It didn't work over the weekend. Last weekend, there were 2 people that died and 300 people that got injured. U.S. President Trump and North Korean Supreme Leader, as they call him in North Korea, had a second summit. They didn't get to an agreement, and Trump actually abruptly left right away. I believe, if I read in the news correctly, it said that he walked away from the deal because they didn't want to give up their nuclear arms, which is something that the U.S. wants. Russian state television listed U.S. military targets that they can target with their hypersonic weapons if there is a war that turns out between Russia and the U.S. They're saying that the hypersonic weapons can reach Russia within a matter of 5 minutes. U.S. sent 2 Navy ships through the Taiwan Strait on Monday. They're increasing the frequency through the Taiwan Strait, even though China doesn't like it, because that's obviously their part of the world. Citizens took to the streets in India across the country on Wednesday after the government of India carried out airstrikes inside Pakistan, killing hundreds of people and militants in a training camp. India and Pakistan troops also exchanged gunfire on the border. If you guys don't remember, on the top left side of India, there's a territory called Kashmir, which is still disputed between Pakistan and India. The World Court tells Britain to give up control over the Chagos Islands and Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. They said that they wrongfully forced people to leave in the 1970s to make way for a U.S. airbase. And the U.S. Army is estimating that Russia is the military is going to reach its peak in 2028, and China also is going to reach its military peak in 2030. So we have time to prepare for it, supposedly. And there's still a bit of a dispute going on between the European Commission and Italy. The European Commission is saying that Italy obviously has a lot of debt, they have a lot of high-risk loans, and they also have a situation where they have a problem with productivity. And in unusual facts this week, California lawmakers are introducing legislation to phase out single-use plastic food containers and packaging by 2030. If it does become a law, which it mostly will, they're saying that other states are going to follow suit. China's recent stock market has blown ranks of the super rich. The number of billionaires in Greater China, which includes Taiwan, and Hong Kong, plunged by 161. It went down from 819 to 658. And in comparison, the U.S. had 584 increase over the same period. So United States, back-to-back World War champions, still winning the league, baby. I love that joke. Back-to-back World War champs. Other than that, the market meltdown that we had. What's up, buddy? These birds keep distracting me. The global stock meltdown, which took away almost $1 trillion of the world's richest. They lost $9 trillion totally. Actually, let me start that again. I don't believe I said that correctly. The global stock market meltdown wiped away $1 trillion from the world's richest people. The volatile markets in 2018 dropped 224 billionaires off the list globally, and that leaves 2,470 with a combined wealth of $9 trillion. There we go. I said it much better there. 8 tons of gold were removed from the Venezuelan Central Vault this week. Obviously, Venezuela is looking for cash where it can. The opposition leader Guaido is saying that he's trying to raise hard currency due to the tightening sanctions. Other than that, scientists in Dubai developed new crops helping farmers to earn a living due to the salty soil that they have, which is really interesting. And cordcutting.com is reporting that as many as 1 of 5 people are sharing services in the online streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Video. That's the news for this week, guys. We're going to head to Spain next week. See you next week.